and fighting.
I know! What's that about?
Can you talk a little bit about that for the next season?
I think the third season is going to be, again, just like the first and second season were to each other, completely different. And we've got this whole new dynamic, right, of Nikita heading division with Ryan, and again, the team being together, but sort of like under this, this house of it's really it's still a government agency, right? So I think for Nikita, this is going to be a little tough. It's going to be sort of, we're going to have a honeymoon period in the beginning, I think, where she's sort of, has the thing of, well, I'm not looking over my shoulder anymore. That's nice. I can go and have a meal or, do things that you've never seen Nikita do. But then at the same time, I think shortly into the series, I think she's going to be a little bit like, she's kind of got a boss now. Nikita's always been her own boss, so I think that may become an issue. She's still got people to answer to now, and she, how she does things her own way. So I don't know if that's going to be totally.
Because she seemed like she wanted to have a personal life at the beginning of last season.
Totally.
So has she given up on that?
No, not at all. And what's nice is we're actually going to get into that, and we're gonna do something. We're gonna kick this season off with something that you would never expect to happen in the first episode of the season, which, in true, Craig style, is sort of the way they do things. It's great.
So we're talking like a wedding?
Oh God! If there's a wedding on Nikita, I quit. No weddings, no babies. It's not happening.
How unexpected it should be.
Unless somebody elopes in a cool way. But I was just like, no one's getting pregnant and no one's getting married. No, this is not a soap opera.
But will there at least be shower scenes as promised?
Who started that?
Craig did that back
somebody was talking about, I think that happened, like we were talking about on set, what the worst thing would be. And I think it started from there. Something like that, yeah.
So as an actress, going through all these different seasons where things are totally different, has that made you grow as a person? What do you like about it?
Huge. I didn't really understand how TV would change me as a performer, and I've read interviews of film actors who've gone to TV and said, well, it's so nice to grow a character over an amount of years. It's a whole different experience because you never leave it behind. It's always a part of you. And it sounded all, good, but when you're actually doing it, it is exactly that. It's sort of this long-term relationship you're in with another person that you're creating, and it's this bizarre, very sort of fulfilling thing that you don't get from movies. I mean, obviously you get something else from movies, but yeah, I do love it.
Now that she's kind of in a power position responsible for a government kind of hierarchy level, is her wardrobe going to change significantly?
It really is. See, what's exciting about the wardrobe this year is that Nikita gets to wear everything now. She's on missions, but she's also in division. So she's, corporate as well sometimes, but then we get to see her own, maybe, because now she gets to choose, she gets to go, oh, I'll wear that jean and that t-shirt today. You know what I mean? Because she might be going to yoga class or a coffee, and she's never done any of that. So, and then we're going to see her on missions, and we're also going to see her playing characters, on missions, within missions, and so there's going to be a lot. The costume designer, let's put it this way, is very excited about this season for Nikita.
So is any of her style your style?
Kind of. I mean, I feel like you can't totally separate it. I mean, when I'm going through Iraq, right? It's sort of like, I love that. And she always goes, for you or for her? For you or for her? She always says that to me because I'm always going, take that. That's for her. So it's fun. But yes, I think that I definitely influenced her. But I also, at the same time, I'm very sort of like, I'm very conscious of that. I don't want to, and I'll even, like my hair right now is so light, and people are like, are you going to do that for the show? I'm like, no, this is for me. Because I get to be myself for 2 months.
Right, nice highlights.
Yeah, thanks. And then I got to go back to Nikita, and so it's going to change. But this is, I try to differentiate.
What about the living situation? Is she going to live in division? Is she going to want to set up house?
No, she's got a house. We're not going to see it right away, but her and Michael might have a house.
Ooh.
It might have a house.
Picket fence?
A really high one with barbed wire.
Is it just for them, or are they going to be inviting everybody else to kind of stay?
Well, we definitely, Craig and I discussed this. We thought it was so funny. We were like, I said, so, living condition standards, this, that, and the other. And he said, well, yeah, we'll figure it out. I go, they're not bunking. They're a freaking couple. None of this, 7 people to a house thing anymore. That's not happening. He goes, no, that's not happening. I was like, it's not happening. He's like, it's not happening. So that was kind of funny. Because it's true. We've all been running. So we're stacked up in one house, whether it be 3, 4, 7 people by the end of the season. And now everybody's got to, if Alex and Sean decide to do something together, they may have their own thing and we have our own thing. And it's less creepy.
But without last season, Nikita and Amanda they almost killed each other a few times.
Yeah,
and now, Amanda was gone for a little while and she's back. And now with Nikita kind of taking over division in a way, of course, I'm assuming Amanda's not going to be happy about that. Can you talk a little bit about the dynamic between the two?
You're absolutely right. I mean, the thing about, speaking of, she walks in the room. The thing about Amanda being pissed off, that's so scary because Amanda is not like Percy. In the 3rd season, Percy had an agenda and Nikita got in the way. But Percy's agenda mattered more than Nikita did. He just wanted her out of the way. He was sort of pissed that she was always screwing things up for him. But it was very male. It was a lot less personal. It was just sort of like, get in my way, you're dead. If you don't, whatever. This is 2 chicks now, right? And she is mad as hell. And her only objective is to hurt Nikita. And she's going to do that any way she can. She has no other agenda but to hurt Nikita. And that's very, very different from Percy. So she's a massive threat this season. Yeah. And the fact that she has Fox and Ari is a big thing too. Very big.
Is Nikita reporting to the government now?
In the 3rd season? She is.
So they'll be a little more legit and...
Well, because Ryan Fletcher is now heading division. This is somebody that she obviously has a great friendship with and she respects, but he's also very square. So I foresee a little bit of this just because she's just so used to doing things her own way, and I think it's going to be a little hard for her to take direction from someone, or for somebody to say to her, well, that's not the way we do things. This is the way we do things because I have to report back to the government. And Nikita's like, so, it's sort of that thing, yeah. And so now it's a different dynamic because they really are working together, and he really is answering to the government. And there's something actually in season 3 that Ryan's holding back from Nikita that we'll find out during the season that is legitimately why he has to worry about the way she does things. Yeah, and she's so reckless that she's not going to listen to him.
With division not as the enemy anymore, we've used to the tension level up here. Is it going to come down, or are they found ways to make it as exciting?
We have some bad guys this season. It's so exciting. We're going to do a lot more standalone episodes, which is nice, and we're going to bring in, some really quality guest stars again. We've got Devin Sawa back as a regular, which is really exciting, and Noah Bean, who plays Ryan Fletcher, is also a regular this season. So we've got a nice group of boys, and we're going to have some adversaries for them for sure, and for my character as well. So, and yeah, it's going to be good.
So can you talk a little bit what you did in your hiatus?
Oh, I'll tell you what I didn't do. Rest. Oh my God, did you see my photo? Did you see the photo?
We had it in our iPad edition, and I saw it while I was here. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
You guys seen the whale shark photo? You're going to die. I died when I saw it, and I did it. I was in May Comic Con because I was in Cancun, and I was diving with whale sharks off the coast of Mexico because I work with a group called Wild Age, an endangered species protection group, and I'm on a big campaign to stop shark finning. And so anyway, we did these photos of me diving with these whale sharks, for publicity to bring attention to the cause. And they're the biggest fish in the ocean. I mean, they're friggin'. I mean, it's like swimming with a dinosaur. I mean, I haven't done that. I'm nothing to compare it to, but I'm assuming that's what it was like. So, but I haven't rested a lot. I have to say, I've been promoting. I've been around. I've been internationally promoting the show, and they're sort of a season behind and trying to forget what I know, and you know what I mean? Still promote the show. So season 1, episode 4, I'm like, season 1, episode 4. I'm like a reference book. I've forgotten all the details.
Going along with that, like how far into the season do you know? Do you know what's going to happen? Do they have a plan for the end of the season, and how hard is that to kind of keep straight where you are now, what you're shooting, and everything like that?
I know a lot. I know a lot. But season 3, unlike season 1 and 2, I don't even think Craig knows how the season's going to end. But I think that they're doing that on purpose. They kind of want to see. I think they're doing like a little like writer's test, like writer's workshop test to see if giving a set goal at the end of the season restricts them during the year, or if they just kind of opened it up and let it flower and move in different directions. If you could get things that possibly didn't happen in the first 2 seasons. So the writers are excited. They're scared because it's nice to have a goal. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But yes, I do know a lot, and I try to be present so that it doesn't affect sort of what's in front of me. But yeah, it's you got to know certain things just to be able to deepen the experience.
I was wondering, like, when did you know how the last season was going to end? Like,
I knew it for a long time.
for a long time. And what did you think when you first learned where the season was going to end and what that would mean for where the series could go after
Well,
that?
I knew where we wanted to go in season 3. So that means in season 2 somebody big's gotta die. Right? And we already picked who we were losing, and so that was known. Craig and I had talked about it, and obviously the writers knew, but it was good. It was just sort of one of those things where I knew what Nikita's arc was going to be and where she was going to end up emotionally and mentally at the end of season 2, and that was going to set us up for season 3. And so those things are kind of important for me because this overarching. I mean, when you do 23 episodes, the arc is long. Arcs are supposed to do this. Ours do sort of this, and it's hard to keep going at that level if I don't have my convictions in order.
So, having done the role for so long, is there anything of Nikita that have you learned anything from Nikita?
I do learn from her. She's incredibly patient, which I sort of admire. I mean, I love that there are things where she'll respond to a situation and I'll think, I'd be pissed off by now. I would have probably said something by now, but Nikita lives in this place of sort of guilt/compassion, and I think that she always puts other people first, and I do love that about her, and it's not just about putting herself first to better the situation or make it feel good. I mean, she genuinely cares about people and herself, and how can you not admire that? That's a good trait.
Going back earlier to what you said about the international appeal of the show, so what do you think about that? Do you think that's really what saved the show?
That's totally what saved the show. We have very low ratings in the U.S. It's just sort of like it's one of those things. I mean, listen, we're on Friday night, which is not exactly a night people are like, oh my God, I'm gonna buckle down on a Friday night at 9 o'clock. People are out. But then again, a lot of our audience on a network like this is a younger audience that does buy episodes, download episodes, and watches things on their phone and on their computer. So again, it's that. But I always sort of felt like Nikita was a show that people had to find, and because we're not a show that's typical for this network, I didn't think it was going to happen right away. That people were like, I'm tuning into the CW as a 45-year-old man. That doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't happen. Even though the show warrants that, but it's you've got this wall because it is marketed to younger women. And but yes, I do. You're absolutely right. I believe that. I mean, I absolutely believe that, and I'm really appreciative of the international community for saving our ass. It's kind of great.
And you didn't get
I need to
pregnant.
take her, guys.
What? And I didn't even have to get pregnant. I'm married. So there we go.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. What? It's getting